Okay, everybody, we're going to call this June 4th, Ward 3 Neighborhood Advisory Board meeting to order. Can we start with roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Ilya Arberman,
Here.
Gabriel Maya. Absent at this time. Marie Rodriguez. Here. Thank you. Zachary Bolton.
Present.
Thank you. Jarrett Singh.
Here.
Thank you. Alternate Shonda Golden. Absent at this time. Council Liaison, Councilmember Miguel Martinez is present, and then Staff Liaison Abigail Mayorga is also present. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum of the Ward 3 Neighborhood Advisory Board meeting.
Great, thanks. We'll move on to A2 public comment. Are there a few people in the room here?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have received a public comment. Prior to doing so, I'm going to read a script. So members of the public may hear, observe, and provide public comment virtually by registering through the following link, which can be found on reno.gov/meetings. The link is as follows: https://links RENO.gov/4AXM5IL. It should be noted for those in attendance that comments are to be addressed to the board as a whole. Comments heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the agenda. The board may not take action upon any matter not agendized on today's agenda. When you are called for public comment, please state your name for the record and begin speaking. The timer will begin when you say your name, and you will be afforded 3 minutes. Awesome, Mr. Chair. So our first public commenter today is Chief Catherine Nance. Yes, please.
For NABs, am I not on? Now I'm on. Somebody else has to do that for me because I will forget every time and just start talking. So I'm making my rounds to the NABs and introducing myself and just giving some basic kind of information and providing kind of updates as to where we're at with the police department and some different things and some things you can look forward to as we move through this year. So again, I'm just going into my year, a little over a year now. I started in February of 23. So we're moving into summer, so I'm starting to see how things are working. I've had a full year at doing this, and now I'm seeing how things kind of happen next year. So I'm getting more anticipatory of needs. So a couple of the fun, exciting things that we're doing is we're really working hard on how we are present in the downtown area. And we were allocated additional funding positions in January of 2024 for this year. We've filled some of those positions. We do still have some vacancies, but we're working really hard on filling positions. So you guys actually are getting the first publicly stated announcement about this, but we're working into it's called the mobile engagement team. So we'll be working through downtown with a mobile engagement team. We'll have officers on bikes still working evening hours. We're moving into having officers on foot and walking downtown and being more present with the business owners in that area. So that's one of the things that's upcoming. We'll be starting that in July. We've had some, you might have seen some people downtown walking now. Those are overtime basis. So thank you. And thank for everybody that's participating in that. And really have gotten some very good feedback from the officers just being present in that area and space and out of their cars and talking to people and just really understanding what's happening in the area and how they can be better and how we can better improve our service quality in that neighborhood. Other things that we're really working on is the big one is our patrol redeployment. Matrix Consulting is doing a patrol redeployment for us. So they're looking at how are we deploying our resources in the patrol capacity. So the people that handle calls for service when somebody is needed or do proactive activity out in cars. And they're looking at, do we have enough officers? What number should we be trying to reach there? And more importantly, they're looking at the entire city to say, how are we deploying resources, both days off, times a day that we're working, and where we're putting officers in what neighborhood based on calls for service, time that calls take, and needs that happen. I was told a secret that I could keep going over my 3 minutes. So, but if that's not true, you can turn my microphone off. But so that is, that's coming up on the horizon. I'm looking at getting my data back on that in July, and so that we can use that data to do a shift bid in October and change kind of how we're deploying resources in that space. We've had a couple really exciting things that we've done with training. We have instituted procedural justice training, which is really the idea on how to treat each other in the organization and people outside the organization in a manner that is respectful and courteous, transparent, and really does allow for the officers to have neutrality in their decisions when they make them and explain why they're doing things the way that they're doing them. So part one of that training was the procedural justice side of that. Part two is implicit bias, and we're going to start that in the fall. And then part three that will probably start in early 2025 will be involving the community in those trainings. So I'm excited to get through that so we can do those next steps. So we are almost all the way through part one, which we started in February. So that was really good to get everybody in the whole department through that. We'll be done with that by July. And then we're rewriting policies and procedures, really working on making sure that they're modern, up to date, easy to read and easy to follow. And so we hired a company called Lexipol. They're a nationwide company that works on policies and procedures for police departments. They streamline them. They help us update them. They provide resources and training on them. And it's just an amazing asset that we can utilize that's going to help us to make sure that our policies and procedures overarchingly are accurate and up to date, which is hard to do if you're not policy writers. And unfortunately, most police officers, that's not what they went to school for. So we need a little help on that. Other than that, things have just really grown. We're hiring a lot of people. We graduated 13 from the last academy. We will be putting 23 officers in the academy starting in July. We are really working on filling our vacancies so that when we're allocated these new positions by council to continue to grow the department, we have the resources to do that because we don't have a lot of vacancies. Our vacancies are caused from attrition, generally retirements that we can't really control. So we just try to balance that out with making sure we're hiring as many people as we can. Our recruiting numbers are phenomenal. We've done a great job with recruiting and we're just going to keep on that pathway. If you don't follow us on social media, you should. Our recruiting officers are doing a great job on getting people interested in law enforcement in a lot of different ways. And then the best part of the year is going to be moving to the new Public Safety Center. So there's a video that we'll be putting out. If it hasn't gone out already, I think it might be on the city social media pages, but if not, it'll be out in the next couple of days on the Public Safety Center, what it means to the officers, what it means to our community. And we will be moving in there starting August 1st. So that'll move will take a few months, long coming. But we should be in that Public Safety Center space. By my hard cutoff date to be totally out of our building is November 1st. So take us a few months to do that, 3 months, but we should get that done in that amount of time, and that'll start on August 1st. So those are the highlights for right now. Other than that, I can't think of anything. I probably forgot something because I always come in and think of new things every time I come in, but that's what I have for the updates for this time. Anything else you wanted me to add that I missed? No. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm sure I'll be back. Oh, one thing, I did forget one thing that's actually important. Most of you that come to NAB meetings are used to getting updates from the police department with crime data and things like that. We are changing that information that we're putting out to the NABs to be more in line with the way that we release data and information overall. So you're going to see a change in that. It's going to be a little more meaningful. It's going to have a little bit more reference points. So you can compare it from this year to last year at this time, significant incidents, and then also updates. So I'm trying to make them a little more interesting and intriguing and have the officers come in and not just read off some crime data that really doesn't have a lot of relevancy if you're not following it through, but give you a useful document that you can utilize quarterly to say what has happened in my neighborhoods, what is happening there. So we're going to start with that. And then again, if there's any other information you want, or you're like, hey, this doesn't really meet our needs, let us know and we can try and figure that out. I have a new crime analyst that's starting this year. So we'll have 3, which is phenomenal. And we'll be able to give you a little more meaningful data. So I'm looking forward to what that's going to look like for all the NABs. So that's upcoming also. Thank you guys.
And can I just right now while you're here, Ilya Ardman for the record, I think we would maybe like maybe more info next time. There's a report on the mobile engagement team because that seems relevant. Just because it's a new thing, I think that would be great. And personally, also, I'd be curious. Yeah, as far as like you said, there's going to be a training coming up that's going to have more community input or kind of what the new trainings are. That would be great to hear about as well.
Absolutely. When we do the procedural justice training with the community, we'll draw from the existing NABs. We'll also draw from some of our other resources and nonprofits and things like that to bring them in to have that conversation. What we found in doing these trainings in law enforcement, I've done them before, I participated in them in different areas, is if I train, the four of you and we come in and we all talk about it, your outreach to that, to talk to other people is huge. And you can talk then about what's happening in our communities and what the police are training on. So we want people that are going to go out and spread the word and help us multiply those forces in those trainings. So absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marie Rodriguez for the record. I know she's sitting down. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate how well you are listening to our community. Because I know things have been brought to the police department about the concerns that the community have. And we've seen that you do listen, and not only listen, but take action on it and address it. So I want to let you know that that's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, do we know if we have any more comments in the room here?
Yes, we do. Mr. Chair, up next is Miguel Martinez. Oh, never mind, Mr. Chair, we're good. At this time, if you are in the room and would like to give opening public comment, I will take it. And then I'm going to ask on Zoom while we let our in-person finish. Okay, yeah, go ahead if you're ready. All right. Can you state your name for the record, sir? And your
Benedict
3 minutes will
Cargo.
begin.
Benedict Cargbo. I'm with Northern Nevada Hopes. I work at Hope Springs, also work for The Difference. I'm also a person in recovery. I came a long way. I help and assist individuals with housing. And one of the places that I send them to is Park 160. Unfortunately, in front of Park 160, there's a motel that is constantly, it's a haven for doing drugs. A couple of my friends OD'd in there. I think it's a black eye on the city right there. And I just want to know if there's a conversation about what they're going to do with that hotel, because I know there's a lot of police present that's get called there. There's a lot of disturbance there. And I know there's great development happening in the city. And me as a citizen think that that particular place need to be either shut down and turned into a place for individuals who's experienced homelessness to get their stuff together, and not a haven for drug use. And that's just my stake on that. This is my first time doing this. I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to come and just speak my mind on that. Thank you.
Yeah, Ilya Ardman for the record. Yeah, so you've definitely come to one of the right places, because we're just a citizen advisory board, meaning we don't really make decisions or anything here. We're kind of just here to sort of hear from the community.
Okay.
But Councilmember Martinez is here, and I'm sure who's sitting right there would be happy to speak with you. And I think that, he might be able to give you some more insight
Awesome.
as far as if there are plans for that property or anything like that, or connect you to the right people to do that. So I would connect with him.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm going to have Rain connect with you, sir, and get you some information so we can touch base about your comments. Thank you. All right, at this time, Mr. Chair, I haven't received any more in public comment. If anyone on Zoom would like to give public comment at this time, I ask that you raise your hand using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen, and I'll give you a second to do so. Seeing none, here we go, Mr. Chair. All right, so Katie, I see that your hand is up, so I'm going to allow you to speak. You should go ahead and
there we
unmute
go.
yourself.
Yep, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. All right, state your name for the record and we'll begin your 3 minutes.
My name is Katie Raffanello. I'm from Latitude Property Management, and I actually oversee the Park 160, which is next to Lake Mill Lodge or whatever it's called. I second what that gentleman has been saying. We are continuing to get a lot of complaints and to the point where residents feel unsafe and want to break their lease and move out due to the people hanging out. They did get rid of the big dumpster, but the property's still an eyesore. It's dilapidated. You will see people hanging out there. It is obvious what they are doing. And it is causing a hardship on our asset as well, which is Park 160, for which my client put about $3 million into that asset to make it a pleasant place for people to live, people starting out, their studios, and it's causing a lot of problems. I just find it hard to believe they're not full of code violations over there. I've had this conversation before. It's an eyesore, it's dilapidated, it's a haven. And I'm curious, I see some police presence, I just don't see what the long-term end game is for that place.
All right, thank you, Katie. We will lodge your comments for the record.
Yeah, and Ilya Arbman, for the record, Katie, similar, like I said, to the previous commenter, definitely get in touch. You can always send an email to council and to the clerk just to get connected to them directly, because I think they're going to be the ones that you can have some of these conversations with. We are happy to hear the comment here, but just directing you to the people that might actually be able to answer some of your questions. Okay, any other comment, Abigail?
Seeing none on Zoom, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we'll move on to approve today's agenda. It looks like we just have one item on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Zach Bolton, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Marie Rodriguez, for the record, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, agenda looks good, and we've got the minutes here, item A4 from April and May. One of those is kind of a longer meeting that we had, I think the May meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those?
Marie Rodriguez, for the record, I reviewed those and I approve them as they are presented.
Do I have a second?
Gabriel Mother, for the record, I approve.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Minutes are approved. And we will move on to item A5, council liaison report. Council member.
Yes, good evening. Thank you all for the comments. And then just to kind of reiterate what the chair was saying, I'm happy to have that conversation after. I know I have met with some of the representatives already about the issues happening at Park 160, so happy to continue that. And I'll give you my card after I finish my comments and we can continue that. In terms of what's coming up tomorrow, I just wanted to give the board an update on some of the items that we have to approve on the city council. We are looking at installing three new pedestrian or flashing beacons at school zones to remind folks to go 15 miles an hour. One of them will go at Corbett Elementary School, and then the other two will be around the Duncan Elementary School and Trainer Middle School areas. In Ward 3, other things of note are the money that we allocated from ARPA to do upgrades to the river is also on the agenda tomorrow. So you'll see a refresh of some of the the guardrails, some of those things along Riverside and downtown Reno. So we'll paint those, add new light fixtures, and then hopefully get the designs going to do sort of a cantilever to expand the trail right behind the National Automobile Museum to be able to allow for more access. That slope and that trail narrows a lot because of the property line of the Automobile Museum. And I think with the cantilever design that we're looking at doing over there will help expand the access to folks that are walking with strollers, on wheelchairs, or on bicycles to be able to accommodate everybody coming through. But those are kind of the two items I wanted to let you all know. And also that in July, we will not have a neighborhood advisory board. So this will be the last one for this fiscal year, and we'll go ahead and start our meetings again in August. So I hope you all have a great summer break. And as the weather starts heating up, just remember to drink plenty of water and stay out of the sun as much as you can.
Thank you. Any questions up here for Councilman Martinez?
Jarrett Singh for the record. I was hoping to get an update on the multifamily housing ordinance that I believe failed in city council from the last session. Some of the piece of information I'd be interested in are what exactly were the staff recommendations versus the council's opinion and how they decided on that ordinance. I'd also be interested in what data was available to city council, if any, that swayed their opinions towards not siding with the ordinance. Those are two of the questions I have.
And we're talking specifically about affordable housing?
This is the one that
Or-
would have upzoned the western part of the city to
Gotcha.
be in line with the rest of Reno.
Yeah, and I think that on the 12th, so next Wednesday, we will have that ordinance introduction from the development team. So you'll be able to see what the staff is recommending after hearing from both the community, the planning commission, and the city council, and kind of their proposals from there in that bill ordinance. So it's the first reading, and it's the first time for us to actually look at it word by word and seeing what's actually being proposed and make any amendments. If it does pass that hearing, we still have to hear it a second time and then adopt it. So if there are changes that need to happen, there's really two more opportunities to make that happen. And I think council overall heard a lot of differing opinions from constituents and kind of took that into consideration when making the recommendation and kind of adopted some of the recommendations from planning commission, but not fully all of them, and even some of them only to a certain degree. And so I think once those gets publicized, we can definitely take a look at them and into a deeper dive and kind of see where it was. And in the staff report, it's pointed out some of the data points, and in the presentation that staff has given in the past has also explained some of the data for what we have been working on and where we're kind of seeing the numbers there. And I think also one thing that I like to point out when we talk about, density and all this is we need to situate that conversation in the larger context of if we as a region will continue to see growth, we need to talk about whether we want to sprawl or if we want to build up. And that's, in my mind, one of the things that's first and foremost, just because we are continuing to grow and more people continue to come here. Our families are growing and expanding. There's more generations coming in to Reno, Nevada. And so I think as we continue to explore that bigger picture for me is whether we want to allow sprawling and us to move into different parts of the valleys that we haven't to yet, or if we want to keep our resources where we're at, upgrade those and make those a little bit better and upfill or densify some of our areas. So I think that's where I think about it in the larger context, and where my thoughts are on that.
And Jarrett Singh for the record, I would agree with you as well. I think that from the comments I've heard and the people I've been talking to within the community, sprawl isn't really fiscally good for the city. It's not something that we can even really do. A lot of those areas tend to be subsidized by the denser infilled areas within the city. Nevada being a sales tax focused state, anything that doesn't involve mixed use tends to be more of a resource drain from my understanding. So if I were to add comment to that for the council to understand is that we need something that is fiscally responsible for the city and that would be able to maintain itself going into the future. And that though that part of the city, whether there be some sentiment that says we don't want something in our backyard that is multifamily, does need to be on board with the rest of the city that does fall into that ordinance and is upzoned for multifamily housing. And that it's in their best interest and the best interest of the city for us to be on the same page with how we build and view our communities.
Yeah, and I think two things that I'll just add as well before hopping off this conversation is that we live in a mountainous high desert region. And so parts of where we live are not even developable. And the other thing is that we live in a place that has low water. And so we need to be consistent of our water resources and conscious of that moving into the future and how we plan for our growth.
For the record, I do appreciate where you're coming from. I think it aligns well with the rest of the comments I've heard from the city, and just the folks that I've been working closely with. So I'm glad that you're more or less an ally for how we're viewing development as well too. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll move on to the staff report. Do we have anything, Abby?
Nope. I just want to echo no NAB in July, so we will resume in August. So keep an eye out for my emails and stuff.
Okay, cool. And we'll move on to, I think, what most, at least some of the people are here for, which is item B1. We're going to be accepting nominations for the Ward 3 Community Champions. And is that going to be staff or council member, or who's going to be?
It's
how
going
we're
to be me,
Cool.
with some help from Councilmember Martinez. So I'm going to stay over here so I can, maneuver the Zoom and stuff. But Abigail Mayorga, Community Liaison for the record. So I believe in January of this year, we brought forward the Community Champion Program. And this program came out of a need or a want from our council and the city of Reno to highlight the unsung heroes in our community who do work that they just do with their head down and, don't expect anything of it, but truly impact, whether it's one life or many lives. So once it was rolled out, we encouraged the NABs, council members, and those in the community to nominate somebody that they see as a champion for our community or city of Reno, or whatever that may be. So this month, and it's a little atypical because I know that the NAB doesn't typically get a staff report, but in the packet and the packet that's available to the public, we included a staff report to outline the purpose of the program and what we expect or what we're looking for today, which is the acceptance of these nominations from the board and from our council member here today. So for this quarter, we did receive 5 applications, which are here in the packet available to you for your review that you all saw. And each nomination was thoroughly thought out and they all did different ranging things. But today we do have 2 members of the community present with us today that received those nominations. So first up, we have Brenda Costello. And I believe hers was the last one. I'm gonna pull up a little bit and I'm just gonna read a little bio about Brenda and what she has done for our community. Give me 1 second. All right, so Brenda is a director of the Family Resource Center and has been working in education for over 18 years. Brenda is crucial as a provider, to help families with all of their needs and goes above and beyond to all the people that she impacts on her daily life. So Brenda is here today. If you don't mind standing up for me, Brenda. So yes, round of applause. And Brenda, if you don't mind coming up to the mic and just telling us a little bit more about what you do. I know the snippet, I think, only allows for 150 words. So how can we really quantify all the things that you do for our community?
Thank you for having me. My name is Brenda Costello for the record. So as you heard from Miss Abigail, so I've been part of Washoe County School District for starting my 19th year now. I supervise 2 of the 5 family resource centers. The family resource centers were created in 1995 and they are statewide. Ours is the only one that is located within a school district. So even though we're part of the school district, anybody in our community can receive services from us. Some of our services, you have to have kids or minor children in the home, not necessarily kids in the district, but little ones. And others, anybody can get services. We do things like resource assistance. We do a lot of applications. Families can come to us to have their Medicaid or welfare, their SNAP benefits, their food stamps renewed. And as I've heard from other community members, rent housing is huge right now. I'm part of the intervention department, so that includes our children in transition program within the school district. So we receive phone calls from maybe a Washoe County Sheriff's deputy or perhaps a school counselor, or more often from Human Services Agency, where a family has been evicted and they call us. So again, I'm at Desert Skies. I'm also at HUG. We have a family resource center that's in O'Brien Middle School, one at Sparks and one at Wooster. We do housing, we do utility assistance, we do emergency food, motel food. Today I dropped off 2 rolls of toilet paper at Clayton Middle School. So it's kind of all over. I want to appreciate my friend that nominated me. So Miss Claudia Castaneda. So her sister was my intern, my social work intern several years ago. And so, and her sister went on to work for Human Services Agency. So it is truly a family. Again, I work for the school district, which is 62,000 kids and 8,000 employees. Most of my referrals come from Human Services Agency, which is CPS. So again, thank you for the nomination. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have about what we do and where we do it.
Ms. Costello, thank you so much for what you do. One of the things I don't think a lot of us understand is some of the backgrounds that our students come from. They don't come from the best homes. They come from homes where they don't have the basic necessities. And then we expect them to go to the classroom and be able to pay attention when they're hungry, when they don't have clean clothes, when they're stressing about something that's happening back at home. And I appreciate so much what you're doing to help these kids get through the education system so they can make a better life for themselves as adults. So thank you for that. I am curious, I do work for the police department. Do you work with our victim services advocates there as well?
We do.
You do?
We work
Okay.
really closely with them, especially if a family is displaced. So oftentimes there's immediate needs put into place, you know, the stuffed animal or the bag of food, the backpack. But we really work hard with our families to have them engage with us for long-term case management. No one ever comes in and says, I'm signing up for case management, but we know that their odds of success are better if we can keep engaging with them to move from crisis to stability. So one of the populations that we don't often think about is especially maybe in our Sparks area and Worcester, and then in Sun Valley is our seniors. So housing prices for seniors have also gotten out of hand. And so we will put resources into place, or more likely we provide referrals. So I had a senior last week that was like, I don't know where to get food. And I'm like, here are all the places in Sun Valley you can go. So we have partnerships with Northern Nevada Hopes, with the Food Bank of Northern Nevada, with Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, community services agencies. Most of those, every single entity I just named, I have a personal cell phone of one of their staff in my personal cell phone. So it's not necessarily the school district calling Catholic Services, it's Brenda calling Adriana. So those are the networks and the relationships that we build to help our families.
Thank you for that additional information. I love that the different charities in our community are talking to each other and sharing information. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Ilya Arman, for the record, so who's eligible for Family Resource Center services?
So we have no guidelines as far as anybody can come in and get services. So some of our programs are income-based, for instance, you know, like a SNAP, which is food stamps, or energy assistance. But anybody can come in to get resource and referral, and they often do. So maybe they just moved here, they don't know where they go. They got, you know, there's a new house in Sun Valley, they're living in it, but there's only one car. They don't know where the bus zones are. So we do things like bus passes, or we link them to their proper school, or we will, as again, I'm part of the intervention department, we have attendance officers that may transport a child to school their first day of school because they didn't know where to go. So we get to work with all of those families as well to link them to those services, as well as the seniors, or in welfare speak, it's an ABOD, an able-bodied zero dependent, so an adult with no kids, but they qualify for energy assistance. So we will hook them up with utility assistance. We have a partnership with NV Energy, which is now moving to United Way. Last year, through the Family Resource Centers, we covered over $300,000 in power bills. So, and again, how is a student going to do their homework if the lights aren't on? So those are the partnerships that really make a difference. Little differences, but overall, it's huge. And I'm really honored to do the work that I get to do. It's never something, I grew up in Elko, Nevada, born in Fallon. It's never something that you think, I'm going to grow up and deliver toilet paper and pay a power bill, but every day we make a difference in somebody's life, so.
And do you have some cards or something like that with you?
I did not bring any with me. I literally came from doing a home visit. I also supervise the parenting programs. So I will make sure to get all that information to
Yeah,
Abigail,
that'd be great.
and she
Yeah.
can share it. And you're all welcome to come to any of our resource centers and, you know, help share that, because sometimes families don't know where to go. And you guys don't have to know where to send them specifically. You just have to know there's one place. So.
You mentioned that you guys have a location inside of Worcester High School?
Inside where?
Worcester High School?
Yes, we do. It's on the backside of Worcester. It's across the street, kitty corner from Roger Corbett Elementary. There's like little playground equipment there. So it's part of the Early Learning Center. So half of the building is for our teen moms that are able to bring their little ones there. And the other half is the Family Resource Center. It's really one of the busier centers because it's walkable. So we have a lot of folks that can walk there. Appointments are encouraged, but often, yesterday was Monday. There was two families literally sitting against the wall when I walked over there to say, like, what are you guys doing? How can I help you? Do you have an appointment? They're like, no, we just know somebody will be here. So I was able again to provide some food and a backpack. So we had a little person that left his backpack on the school bus and didn't want to go to school without the backpack. So I conjured one up, even though it's the end of the school year. So
Thank you so much for everything you guys do, and look forward to visiting the resource center.
Yeah.
And being, any way to help out to spread the word. That'll be fantastic.
yeah, I will add. So again, we're part of the school district. We're statewide, but being part of the school district, we are 100% grant funded. So the school district does not fund us at all. They don't fund our salaries. They don't fund our programs. They do provide in kind as far as like we have a roof over our head, but it is grant writing season. I'm waiting right now to hear on 3 grants that we have submitted. We do state, federal, and private grants, and it's tough. Like, so this fiscal year starts July 1st. It's the first week of June. 3 of my employees don't know if they have jobs. So that's never a good feeling. I mean, we've worked it around. It's like building Legos, more like Duplo blocks, but every year it's a little hit and miss. And eventually, like, my goal would be to get at least one of us general funded through the district to provide more stability, because it's one thing to say you're grant funded and, the jobs are, come and go. What does that mean for the families that come to depend on us? So, thank you so much for your time. Any more questions?
Chair, saying for the record, I think what you're doing is really amazing and really rad, and it's really appreciated. So thank you.
It's pretty cool. I mean, the toilet paper, not so much, but that backpack made my day. So thank
Toilet
you.
paper is really cool when you don't
It
have
was very cool. And it included 2 $5 Walmart cards. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Brenda. Up next, we have Alberto Aviles. Alberto Aviles, known as Famous Flaco, owner of the Biggest Little Cuts, started the Youth Empowerment Project in January of 2023, working to inspire the next generation on giving back to the youth. He shares his story of an entrepreneur and provides free haircuts to the Pennington, DWR, and the Coreno Teen Center. I believe he is here today. If you would like to step up to the mic and do your plug.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me. My name's Albert. I'm a local business owner. I own Biggest Little Cuts, and that's pretty much what we do. We have a youth empowerment program where we go out and we reach out and we try to make these teens feel a little bit better with these haircuts. And we do help with the Jan Evans kids on probation, the ones that are doing good, the foster kids, and also the Boys and Girls Clubs as well.
So Ilya Arman, for the record, we can refer, like, if say that we know a kid in need, you guys will do basically a free haircut. Is that?
So
kinda
what we
how it
do
works?
is we have selected dates. Sometimes it's back to school or spring break or certain different dates that the board there gives me. And then that's where we assign the dates. But if there's any student or anybody that really needs a haircut or anything, like, I have my shop and my business is open, so they're more than welcome to just come in and I'll take care of them.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
Same deal. Did you bring any advertising at all that we can have, or what would be the best place to look up your?
So I don't normally do any advertisement like this, but I am all over social media and I am on Google. So if you just Google Biggest Little Cuts, like Biggest Little City, Biggest Little Cuts, or Famous Flaco with the K, and then all my booking links, everything should be there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. I'm going to ask that our community champions come forward to take a picture with Award 3 NAB and Councilmember Martinez. Claudia Castaneda is here and she did nominate them, so she's also welcome to, come up here and take a picture.
You want us to come down, Abigail, or stay?
Oh,
up
no,
here?
you guys can stay up there. If you guys want to get up and get closer, that would help.
You guys can enter their.
We gotta be a little bit more.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you all are awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll get through C and D here. Are there any announcements up here from the board or future agenda items?
Jared Singh for the record. Am I able to plug events for like advocacy groups in Reno or things like that that are happening? Tomorrow night, we have started a Strong Towns chapter in Reno. I don't know if you all are familiar with that, but it's a group that helps advocate and enable citizens in development and planning so that they're more educated on how they can be involved in that process in the city. But we are going to be having an open meeting tomorrow at 4:30. And I'd love, like, the board could be there. It'd be cool. We're going to be doing our presentation at 5. So 4:30 is kind of the start. And that's at LBC, Local Beer Works, across the street from Kraft downtown, Midtown. So
Awesome. Thank you, Jared.
Marie Rodriguez for the record. Just a couple of things. I just wanted a couple of dates coming up. I want to remind everybody that Art Town's coming up soon, so make sure to grab your calendar. I know Rayleigh's has them. I'm sure they're also all around town, and start planning your July, especially since we don't have a meeting. And I know we've got a couple of events happening in town, including June 19th is the Juneteenth parade. So it'd be great to come out and support that. And reminding everybody of their civic responsibilities. Early voting ends this Friday. And let's not forget the primary is on June 11th.
Thank you, Marie. Good reminder. Okay, do we have any more public comment here in the room or on Zoom?
I haven't received any in-person public comment. And then if anyone on Zoom would like to give public comment, now is your time to raise your hand. Seeing none, Mr. Chair.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Jared Singh for the record, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Do you have a second?
Zach Bolton, I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, guys. We'll see you in August. Meeting is adjourned.